Response. I am Miss Carter, and today we are tackling a topic that we see all over social media. I've noticed myself that there are a lot of, posts and podcasts and videos versus femininity. So today, on the Response, where we express to understand, we are tackling the topic. We'll be right back. Hello, and welcome to The Response. I am one of your hosts, Miss Carter, but I have the very handsome fellas here with me co-hosting. Hey, what's up?
How are you?
All right, introduce yourself, tell the people who you are.
If you don't know already, you will.
Okay.
I'm Brandon Thoughts. I'm brilliant, bright, and always willing to fight. Right?
Okay.
What's goody? This your boy Radio Rob. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Okay, so tonight we are back with another topic, and I think we should just really get into it. You know, masculinity versus femininity. I want us to first cut to a clip where we have a podcast or a show or something where someone is talking
It's called
about
Good Conversations.
good conversations. Okay, so from the podcast, it's a podcast.
Yes.
Good conversations. Let's check this clip out.
I don't know what a feminine man is. I
You
don't.
know exactly what it is.
Who,
And
me?
you honestly feel threatened by them because that's the one thing that you probably lack as a human is this empathy vehicle that you're so afraid to lay claim to when really it's necessary for your manhood. I believe that the most
1000%.
well-rounded individuals, male and female, must have the ability to be what y'all call this masculine. When it's as a woman, it's like when it's two becomes one. There's got to be some bleed over. There's this purge. There's this sauce that you make of a man's masculinity and a woman's femininity. Those things don't, just like y'all mesh, so does that energy. I would not expect my woman to not pick up some sort of masculine traits, but these are mine. I get to watch her use my slang, carry that shit like I carry it.
Yes.
That's the most beautiful thing. As long as we call it a war, we will forever be intimidated when we see it in ourselves, but that's really just women touch you in a way that make you softer, bro.
Yeah. It
And
might.
you must acquire that to survive.
Whew, okay, so
Let's get it started.
yeah, so masculinity versus femininity. Why do we think that it's such a hot topic? I would say especially in the Black community. I see a lot of podcasts around masculinity and femininity. Black men are saying that Black women are not feminine enough, and all of this type of stuff. Why are we having this fight? Like, what's going on?
Right.
So I did watch the clip of that video where the guy was talking about embracing your feminine and masculine side. I do agree that the problem is people feel like they need to gear more to one side than the other, but we definitely need balance. We need balance. You should embrace both masculine and feminine sides. So, but I think the fight is people feel like they need to pick a side. When they really
Yeah, Brandon, but why is it such a hot topic in our community, the Black community, the heterosexual Black community? Why is the topic of masculinity and femininity so prevalent, and why do we see so much around this? Is it that the generations have changed? Like our grandmothers, and even our mothers, some of us, lived differently and have a different mindset than the women of today. Is it that the men miss the control that they had over women? Like, and I'm just putting things out there. But what is it? Because it's really specifically a Black community conversation.
For one, the Black community is the one that indulges in both over hypersexual femininity as well as toxic masculinity, right? And people hate that word, they get all stirred up when they hear that word. But unfortunately, it's the black community, when we talk about terms and things out here, that embrace that. Again, I hate to sound like a repeated record. It comes a lot from, do you not remember in slavery, we've seen them in movies. If some of you read the text, you see, the men were taken away from the women, and that created the first initial divide. I think what you have now, when you have right now women, especially African American women and women of color, are graduating at a higher rate than men, with white people, everybody. They're at the top of who is graduating, right? So they are now reaping the benefits of a woman's revolution. And they are CEOs, they are lawyers, they are not just nannies anymore. They're not just nurses. And shout out to nannies and nurses. We have nannies now.
I was a nanny actually as a teenager.
You was a nanny?
I was a nanny,
You was
yes.
a nanny?
Yes, I was. As a young teenager, I was.
See, so the occupations have changed. I mean, construction workers. It at one time was considered a guy's job.
There's women doing it.
There's women now doing it. Now we have, look at Hollywood. Look at the directors. Women. Ava DuVernay. Look at Gina Prince Bytheway, with the Woman King.
Even with riding motorcycles.
Look at that.
a lot more women riding motorcycles now.
They're into cars. It's no longer a guy thing. So I think in the black community, why it is so prevalent is because it's this invisible race to the top for superiority, and you're not being superior to your fellow man or your fellow woman. It is not beneficial to the community at all. I don't think it's positive. I think both need each other. I think masculine needs feminine. Feminine needs masculine. I'm agree with Rob. You have to, especially in the black community. If we go out in the world and there's so much adversity, so much things going on, you want to come home and argue with your king or your queen, no matter who it is you love. You understand what I'm saying about the day? Nah, you want to drop that off, and maybe your king or your queen got some insight on how to help solve the problem, instead of you getting mad and try, they bullied me all day at work, so I'm gonna come home and to my king or queen, I'm gonna beat, batter, and take that out on them. That's displacement.
I think a lot of the problem is us associating certain behaviors and certain things with specific gender roles.
Yes.
And that is really the root of the problem. When we look at men and we think about men being nurturing and things like that, these are usually things that the characteristics that women exude. So when you meet a man who is a little more nurturing or a little more emotional, or if you meet a woman who is a bit more self-sufficient and who could change her own tires and gets her own money, pays her, and that for me is the root of it, because we put these expectations on genders and say men should do this and women should do this, but when you have men and women who do this or that, men are looked at as being weaker. I've even noticed from social media and different things, we have a representation of someone who is being an excellent father and a husband, but he's called a simp. And I'm speaking about Russell Wilson and Sierra. And so when we see things like this and we see men who step up to the plate and who do these types of things, things that are really admirable things, but we call them simps.
But not to cut you off. To me, that's a man. No, you say what you want out there. To me, that's a man. Any depiction that I've seen, even growing up, of what a man is someone who is responsible, someone who takes care of his and everything that's around him, that's in his circumference. And not that man always means masculinity is always put together, it's synonymous. However, to me, a man is someone who's responsible. So I don't think he's a simp. I think he's a responsible man. He got Sierra her rights to her music. There's chicks out there out here singing and doing things, they ain't even got the rights to their music. He's taking care of Future's baby, he's taking care of his babies, he's doing what he gotta do. That's a man to me.
I want to ask though, myself being trans, you identifying how you identifying how you identify, and we are a part of the LGBTQ community.
Mhm.
You would think that we wouldn't be scrutinized for the ability to tap into our masculinity and our femininity. Let's talk about the dynamic of being LGBTQ and still having to uphold the heterosexual normative of a straight man or a straight woman, or being in a relationship dynamic that is equal to that of heterosexual people, when we are different and we have a different dynamic, and we should not, I feel, hold ourselves to that standard. Let's talk about that. The pressure in being a gay man and being masculine if you want to date, and things like that. The emphasis that's on masculinity within the LGBT community. Let's talk about that a little bit.
I think you asked me, if I'm not sure, last time, or when we were in a conversation about is, no fats, no femmes still a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of spin-dollied and spin into this conversation. And to me, I never felt pressure from my own community, so to speak, when it comes to being masculine. To me, I just am. Like, I was raised by women. Mostly, like, there's guys in my family and I'm really close with them and we all build a bond, but I was mostly raised by women. So my presentation is just me. Like, these are my shoulders, this is my voice, like, there's nothing I could do about this. And how people perceive me is based on their understanding, not mine. So I don't really, and I never felt the pressure. I've always been me. I wore cartoon characters. When you see me to this day, I'm gonna have something with a cartoon character on it. I've always been somebody who's been into, I got OCD, I love cleaning, I love cooking, I love doing all the things that a lot of men might not perceive as masculine, but that is just me. Now, when Beyonce, come on, do I, yes, I shake my ass and I also shake my dick
To
too.
the O.
I up to the O.
I want to touch on the dynamic of masculinity and femininity when it comes to being trans, and how we are expected to, when we transition, to just abandon, certain things about us. I'll tell you this, like, I'm trans and I'll say that, and I proudly say that. It hasn't always been that way. As I, get more into doing music and media, I'm more open and, becoming more comfortable with saying that I'm trans. Not that it's something that I'm ashamed of, but it is something that could put my life in danger.
Yes,
It could.
sure.
That's
the number one.
and not just even, that. I just live my life a certain way, But at the same time, I recognize that I, am who I am, and I have to, do what I have to do for, the next girl that's coming up behind me to have an easier time. But I'm expected as a trans person to abandon, certain things about me. And I always say, like, I'm a woman. I don't want to necessarily say that I am a girly girl, but I'm feminine. But I am still very much in touch with the masculine sides of me. I say all the time, like, there are two things that, like, I'm gonna always probably do like a nigga, and that's eat and fight.
Okay.
So,
all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
but from the trans perspective of masculinity and femininity, what are some of the things that you are leery about doing, or whatever, because you don't want people to perceive you as soft or feminine, or?
So the main thing would be basically showing my emotions, and also kikiing with people. You start kikiing and laughing with certain people, and they take you for granted and they think that's their cue to start calling you stuff other than what they should be calling you, and that is not your cue. To do that to a person because they are deciding to share or laugh with you does not mean you need to start calling them Miss Thing and she and all of that. Like, everybody is not okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And all guys do not want to be called Miss Thing or she just because they are part of the community.
Yeah, that's I don't really like that either.
They're still men.
Yeah, but let's cut to a clip. There was something that happened. Young lady was about to be married. The wife somehow found out that her fiance
confessed it to her.
Oh, he confessed it to her. Oh, okay. So he was, and this is another problem for another topic for another day.
Okay.
But this is like men can't express themselves and be honest without being judged, but we're going to, get back to that, like I said, another time for another day.
Yes.
But this man confessed that he had same-sex experiences in college. He was about to get married, whatever. Just take a look at this clip.
Does not mean we're going to sit there and call the wedding off. It was in college. Right now, no. Right now, it was in college. Oh, for the love of God. It was in college. It was in college. You act like you never curious before. You never messed around with. I'm a good man. Any woman would want a man like me. Any woman would want a man like me. Like me. So you go ahead and try to throw me away. You go ahead and try. You go ahead and try. Like I said.
So, okay, there was a lot. And we've actually talked about it before. You and I have had lengthy discussions on this topic, how lesbian women, like I said before, could live a lifestyle and be very bush presenting, masculine presenting, and at a point feel like they want to turn back and be with a man and have a family and all that. And it's more so accepted than if what we just saw. So why is it like that? Or I don't. What is it?
Are you taking your glasses off to make the point? Okay, it's going down. This is the Raheem moment.
As far as okay, so in my lesbian days, like I will say that a lot of people were wanting to be around me more, and like mad girls was wanting to talk to me. Like I don't know what it was, girls who had men, all type of girls, women wanting to talk to me, and then when I transitioned, people was being weird. So it's like that whole lesbian thing is, I wonder too, like why is it so much more acceptable than someone saying, hey, I'm trans,
Okay.
But two women being together, society accepts them.
Well, I feel like
lesbians are fetishized as well. Like we talk about the, heterosexual men fetishize lesbians.
Well, if you look at the history of sex, period, right? Women were the first ones to be revolutionarized when it came to sex, right? Outside of like the Romans, right? Women were the ones who explored more. Women were the ones who took a step further and did more. So I think that's why I think it's just a history of, I'm not making an excuse for it at all. I just think that it's a history of women being more free when it comes to sexuality. So when it comes to a patriarchal system that's running something, they're gonna look at that as that's two women. We're not looking at the act of, oh, they lesbians. It's that it's a guy looking at two women make out, and I think that's how it looks. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I know that that's how it's viewed in a patriarchal like setup.
Yeah, I get that.
And I feel like all women have it in them. It just has to be the right person.
So if we could say all women have it in them, we could say, the same for men.
Yes, same thing.
Yeah.
It just, how people say, oh, I don't play that. Oh, everyone, let me put my glasses on.
Okay.
Everyone plays that. It just needs to be the right person.
Well, I don't know. But
Everybody plays that. I don't care what nobody say when they be like, I don't play that, I don't do that. It just needs to be the right person that you play with. Even the trade that say they don't play that, they play that. Just with the right
and
person.
just because they maybe would one girl don't mean that they'll
Yes,
wouldn't with another
yes,
one, right.
and that's
so
another thing.
that's the thing.
Yes.
So yeah,
That don't mean they like all.
men will.
Yes.
They will fuck around with
Yes.
one girl, but they will beat the next
Yes.
bitch up.
Or they might not like you. They may not want.
like
Yeah,
either
they don't
one.
want no other girl, but they want that girl. Yes.
But if we also looking at it, we have to look at women now, right? We're seeing women are being incarcerated at a higher rate more than men now for doing crimes that's not necessarily related to men anymore. Before, when women were in jail, it was more than likely 85% chance was it was linked somewhere down to a man. Whether it was drugs, whether it was violence. Now we're seeing them arrested for being crime, they're leading, allegedly, leading crime families. They are, bosses, they're running restaurants, the gender roles and the position has changed to go back to your original
Let
point.
me ask y'all this. Why are heterosexual men so defensive about the state of women and their femininity? Is it, you see so much from, the guy
Meaning
who
like
died,
two-
Kevin Samuels. But, it seems like a lot of black men have taken a position, as, saying that the women aren't feminine enough and,
I
things
think
like this is, and I want to really get to the root of that, like if we can, we really don't, know because we're not in each person's head.
Right.
But this is a conversation that is going on and on. So what is it about this generation of women? Because we have the city girls and we have different type of, you even have Sexy Red, different type of female rappers out, and they give a certain message about get that money, fuck these niggas. Is it that the men feel like they don't have control? What is
I
it?
think certain men can have that conversation, those that are out there still getting it, that has their own, as an independent man, because the roles have changed, as we said. So now you have men who are on the phone saying, I got my own crib, I got my own money, I don't need you, like women would be doing in the 90s. Now the roles have changed because the power dynamic has shifted, the pendulum has shifted just a little bit. So the roles have changed. I think certain men can have that conversation, and I think that certain women cannot have that conversation who, I got pussy, pay me, money, la la la. Like everybody got pay me. I got money.
You want to
pay
spend
me.
time with me?
Like,
You're going to. Yes, I'm not doing. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, that's.
So this is what I'm saying.
I've been around the
But then
girls
you
for a
get
long
mad when
time.
somebody put a price tag on you.
I feel like a lot of
I learned from the
women
girls.
take the position of getting money because a lot of men approach sexually off the bat.
Right.
Yes.
A lot of men, come at you sexually. They're not trying to take you out on dates or getting to know you. They want to know what their mouth do.
Women too, though.
And if you squirt or if you
Now, that's
cream
how it
or,
is.
like that type of thing. So I think a lot of women have taken power in sexuality and say, if these niggas want to fuck niggas, get money.
And who originally said that? Little Kim.
Yeah.
So, but why is it not okay for men to be that way?
And who said that it's not?
They
We
are,
have
but they are.
gigolos.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, but people like how we were talking about the whole.
What you when a nigga?
Like,
Let me tell you something. When you with a woman,
When
you with a woman, you don't
They
really
don't
like
really-
her, and you digging her down, and she give you the keys to all the shit she got in her house, and buy you the PlayStation 5, and give you the Twizzlers or whatever candy you like, Reese's Pieces. He's selling dick, no? He not really into her.
Listen,
He's a homosexual. He's living
I've
under
been paid
the
for my
roof.
services, so.
Listen, who created the dynamic? Like, I feel like it's cause and effect. I feel like the women are being, reaction. They are reacting to, the climate and what things are.
Okay, that's a good point.
A smart woman that's bad and has a certain image After a while, if men or people are coming at you sexually and you recognize your beauty and your sexual power and you feel like that's what it is and that's what they want, you're going to get that. And sex work is
she's gonna make
popping,
them work.
OnlyFans and all that shit is popping. So not a lot of people, and we could just look at our social media, like people are talking down on relationships and saying that you can't find anyone, and
Which is not true.
but I know it's not true,
Yeah.
but someone coming up that's saying, hey, these niggas just wanna fuck, you know what I'm saying? So you capitalize off the situation. Men say that they want these wholesome women and all these things, but as soon as a man gets the average guy, when he gets a chance to celebrate, the first thing he's doing is going to the strip club, or he's
But that's atmosphere.
patronizing
Strip club
you know,
is
like
atmosphere.
IG models and this type of thing. I feel like a lot of men give off that they want these wholesome type of women, but they really only go after the hoes or the strippers.
Well, that's easy. That's like
Shout out to the
Yeah.
hoes.
yeah. Shout out to the hoes.
Shout
and the
out to the
strippers.
motherfucking
hoes
hoes.
and the strippers. All of
Yes.
them.
Do what you do.
I think
Ski.
Don't let nobody do you.
I think masculinity needs femininity, and femininity needs masculinity.
Amen
And it's
to
a
that.
healthy balance.
Amen to that.
So
Tonight, I'll be passing the mic to Miss Carter for a special community highlight. What's up, Tia?
extra special community highlight. Tonight, we will talk about the legendary Mother Latravius. Mother Latravius hails from Orlando, Florida, but built the Brooklyn Ghost Project here in Brooklyn, New York. Mother Latravius touched several lives during her life. It is a year ago today that Mother Latravius lost her life, and we are committed to carrying on her legacy. Mother Latravius provided point of access services to those who came in. Anything that you were in need of, Mother Latravius would try to provide. And it is in that spirit that we continue on we will continue on her legacy, her advocacy, and her work. Rest in peace, Mother Latravius, our community spotlight.
Tonight's show ending with a moment of silence. Tune in next week for episode 4 with our random thought and our community highlight. Back to our regular programming. This has been The Big Three, Miss Carter, Random Thoughts, and Radio Raheem. We would love to send our love to the Brooklyn Ghost Project. We love you, Mother Latravius.